very intolerable towards a lot of BS. Like, you better you not be stressing me. You cannot stress me. What? Real hot girl shit. Real hot girl shit. How are you? Karibu sana to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chitchat GRWM. Welcome to my little space. Okay, so today we are doing this cute look. It's a cute, like, kind of like Valentine's inspired makeup look. I thought we'd do one because after all it is the season of love, so why not? So yeah, today we're going to be doing something different. I've always wanted to do kind of like a sit down video where I just kind of talk to you guys about the millions and millions of things that go in my head. And this just seemed like a perfect opportunity to talk about, you know, what I have learned so far about love and relationships. I will start by saying that I'm not a qualified professional of any kind. This is just like my thoughts and opinions and what I have learned over the years about love and relationships. Let's get into it. I have already settled down. I have my notes, so if I keep looking down, that is what I am looking at. So let's get to it. First, we're going to start with our primer of the day, and this is my illegal primer. Number one, remember that you're the prize and have self-respect. I actually even googled what it means to be the prize. So that generally means to think that someone or something is very important. So you have to think of yourself as like the most important person and the most important thing on this earth, because you are. I mean, God created you to be. You have to keep in mind that you are like the most important thing and you come before anyone else. Yeah, basically this just tells me to just remember that you are the prize. You know, especially as African women, I think we tend to just give a lot. Like, we are constantly giving, we're giving until we have nothing to ourselves. So yeah, you shouldn't just settle on unworthy things and just be constantly in a position of giving, because when do you get to receive? Because it should be a two-side kind of thing. You give and you receive. But where you are just constantly giving and giving and giving and giving, that's not right. And also just respect yourself to not constantly be in a relationship or just in a situation where you feel like you're even losing your self-respect. Like, you feel like you're losing respect for yourself because of the things that you keep on doing, and it just starts with like small compromises, and then small compromises turn into big compromises, and then at the end of it all you just have little to no self-respect. So yeah, be very cautious of what you give your energy to. I went ahead and just did my eyebrows off camera, so I just want to clean them, and I'm using my illegal pro concealer in the shade Fawn. So this second point kind of ties into the first point, and it says love thyself more and know thy worth. So yeah, before you're able to know your worth and understand your worth, you have to be able to love yourself, and loving yourself just entails loving all the parts of you. That means even the parts that you don't like, you know, the parts that you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I don't like this part, I don't like that part. It means just accepting and loving all those parts. And also loving yourself for me means also taking care of yourself and also understanding that you are enough. So I'm also going to use the concealer as a primer for my eyeshadow. So I'm just going to extend it towards my eyelids. So yeah, it means just knowing that you are enough, which is very important for you to know before you get into any kind of relationship, because otherwise what we tend to do is to go look for that validation from our respective partners. And so yeah, we just look for like validation, happiness, or yeah, validation, satisfaction, happiness, or we look for our self-worth from our partner. The only problem with this is that you'll never really be satisfied, because there are certain things that you just have to do for yourself. Your partner can only love you to a certain point. And also, even aside from the fact that you'll never be satisfied and you'll never believe that you're worthy of good things, it's also just draining to the person you're with, for him or her to constantly be in a position of like validating your feelings. It also becomes draining for the other person. But above all, you'll never really be satisfied. You have to love yourself. You have to look in the mirror every day and love yourself. So before you get into any kind of relationship, you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself and you have to know your worth. And this will allow you to just set boundaries and be like, okay, so these are the things that I'm willing to tolerate and these are the things that I cannot tolerate. And this is a boundary of mine that I cannot allow you to cross, because otherwise, when you don't love yourself and you don't understand your self-worth, we just let people kind of like walk all over us and just, you know, just walk all over us and think that they can do any kind of thing, and we'll just forgive them. And we forgive them because we don't know our worth, and we don't love ourselves, and we don't even value ourselves. If you don't value yourself and if you don't love yourself, how do you expect someone else to do? So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my face, and I'm using my Illegal Pro Concealer again to do this. Okay, point number 3 is to know your non-negotiables. I don't want you to think that I live in this perfect world where I think that things in relationships are all perfect and all just good 90% of the time. Of course, there's no perfect person, and there are things that you have to compromise on. But also, a big part of loving yourself and knowing your worth is understanding that these are the things that, for me, I'm just not going to negotiate on them. Like, for me, I just don't like people who are excessively jealous. Like, I don't like that, or jealous, or like to a point where they get controlling, and it's like I have to tell you everywhere I'm going, where I'm going, who I'm going with. I personally just cannot condone that. But this can also manifest in different ways. Like, it can be like excessive jealousy, excessive controlledness, excessive someone who doesn't even have respect for you. Yeah, just it can manifest in like a lot of things, and you have to know that these are the things that for me, this is a boundary, and I'm not going to allow you into my space if this is how you're going to act, especially for the people who do not want to change, because you know that people who are willing to learn and be like, oh, okay, maybe this is a lot, maybe I can tone it down. But the people who just don't want to learn and just want to control and manipulate you, for me, that's like a non-negotiable of mine, and it's something that I refuse to compromise on. This is my Maybelline. So I went ahead and used the color correctors here because I tend to get dark there. Up next is a Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and this is in the shade number 40, and I'm going to use it for my under eyes, just kind of giving me that sort of like a really nice brown and a really nice light under eye look. Okay, so up next is foundation. I am using my Maybelline Fit Me, and this is in the shade 356. I like to just spray a little bit of setting spray just to help with the blending. Another thing that I've learned is to value your peace. Oh my god, I cannot even begin to stress this any further. Like, I don't even know if I'll even be able to get this point across. But your peace is like the most important thing on this earth. Yeah, money is important. Money is great. If you have money and you don't have peace of mind, it's all worth it. So for me, I really think that my peace is like the most important thing to me, especially as I grow older. I find that I'm very intolerable towards a lot of BS, like anything that's going to disturb my mind. No, just cut me out of it. Maybe I text you and you don't want to reply, or I call you and you don't want to pick my calls, or you say you call me and then you don't call me, or count me out of that. I refuse to have my peace compromised. Like, if you don't want to call, I won't even stress about it. I'm not even going to obsess about it. Don't call. It's easy. Don't call. You don't want text? Don't text. Easy. Yeah, of course, guys, I don't want you to think that I live in this delusional world where everything is all rosy and where I'll call my partner and he'll immediately answer his phone. Like, that's not the world I live in. Like, I do understand someone can get busy, but if it's like a constant pattern and I'm finding myself having to repeat the same thing all the time, and it gets to a point where I feel like I'm begging you for attention, or I'm begging you for, you know, like I'm stressed as to why you're doing this, you're doing that, or I'm stressed about the people that you're with and where you're going because you cannot be faithful, and I just have to be stressed about women being around you all the time. Like, that's not me. I'm just like, if you just do what you want to do, you don't want to communicate, you don't want to, like, why are we fighting over these things? Like, we're grown adults. Like, I have just gotten to a point over the years, of course, because when I was younger, like, this was not really my perspective. You know how we women just make excuses for men? Like, that was also me. Like, I'd constantly just make excuses. But right now, and where I am, especially because of the fact that I am on like a spiritual growth journey, And that might sound a little bit superstitious or anything like that, but no, I really feel like I'm on this, not I feel like I'm on this journey with God where I cannot entertain emotions such as worry, anxiety, stress. And if I'm not entertaining these emotions from like outside factors, then why should I entertain the emotions from you? Like me, you will not mess with my peace of mind. My friends know me, everybody knows me. Like for me, as soon as you start with some BS, I'm out. Catch me outside the door. You will not stress me. You will not stress me. Like I feel like I can compromise on other things, but my peace of mind, babe, my peace of mind, no. I don't want any kind of child's play. Like, we're grown adults. Why do you feel the need to lie to me? Why should I have to go through your phone? Why should I have to follow you around or just ask people what you're doing? Why should I have to beg you? Why should I have to beg for a text or a phone call back, or beg for your time and your attention? I refuse to partake in those things, and also think that you should never compromise your peace of mind for anyone. Do not compromise your peace of mind for anyone. Me, if you stress me, I'm out. You better you not be stressing me. You cannot stress me. What? Next, I'm going to be grabbing a brush and I'm going to go ahead and just blend out my concealer. Next point, I even don't know what point we are on. Don't be scared to be alone. Don't be scared to be alone. Be afraid of being in bad relationships. A lot of people around me, and also myself, also at one point, I also feel like I have been scared to leave like a toxic situation because I didn't necessarily want to be alone. Leaving a relationship can be really hard for certain people, and of course people stay in relationships for so many reasons. Like, it's not necessarily about the fear of being alone, but I do strongly believe that you shouldn't just be with someone just because you're scared of being alone. I think that's like the biggest mistake you can ever make. And for us women, we live relationships mentally, but we won't live them physically, right? So if it's over like a period of time and you've been thinking about leaving this situation for a very long time, I feel like you should just do it. Just do it. You won't die by being alone. Feel like you need to leave a situation for one reason or another, just leave and be by yourself. Don't even jump to another relationship. I think it's very important to just like take time to be by yourself and understand. This is where you get to understand yourself and understand what you want in a relationship, what you want in a partner. Just take this time to really just enjoy being by yourself. I promise you, there's nothing as beautiful as just being by yourself. Of course it gets lonely, like obviously, but really just taking the time, just taking like a bit before you jump into a situation with someone else, I feel like it's very important. Just be by yourself, go on dates. Like, it's so beautiful. Ask us introverts, we'll tell you how beautiful it is to be by yourself. It's one of the most self-fulfilling things you can ever do for yourself. Just be by yourself. Just be by yourself. Yeah, and be by yourself. It will also just help you to understand how to not be very dependent on other people for your feelings or for your self-worth. Just be by yourself and understand what you enjoy, what you want. Just take time to be by yourself. So yeah, I've learned that if you are scared of leaving a relationship because you're scared to be lonely, like, being lonely isn't as bad as you think it is. Like, you were alone before that person came along and you were fine, and you'll be fine after. So yeah, so I'm just using the sponge to blend this a bit further. Up next is contour, and I'm going to be using this one. This is my Illegal Pro Concealer in the shade Expresso. Our next point, I have had to learn that it's no one's job to make you happy. Just let that sink in. Like, it's no one's job to make you happy. The hard work of happiness, the hard work of finding what makes you happy, the hard work of finding what brings you joy, that's all you. That is literally all you. It's no one else's job to make you happy. It's no one else's job to make you feel any kind of way. It's yours. It's only so much that your partner can do for you. Just like with self-love, just like we said earlier, that it's your job, even your own happiness is your job. And that one, personally, even me, I had to kind of learn that one the hard way. And now I have learned not to put my happiness in someone else's hand, because really, if I want to be happy, it really is my job. It's no one else's job, and no one even will ever make me happy the way that I can make myself happy, you know. Like no one else can ever get to that level as much as you, and you have to be okay by yourself, and you have to love yourself first before you're with someone, and you also have to know what makes you happy before you're with someone. On the topic of happiness, I have to say that again, going back to my previous point, inner peace is the key to happiness. If you're looking for the key to happiness, it's inner peace. As long as you have peace here and you have peace here in your heart, you're going to be happy. Something that I'm also learning as I grow is I'm learning to move away from happiness and into joy. And this is also another very different topic. Happiness is temporary. Happiness is based on what is happening. Like happiness can be, you can be happy right now and the next minute you're not happy. But joy is always there because it is based on what you believe. You believe that things are always working out for you, then you can be in a constant state of joy. It doesn't matter what adversity you go through in life, you will always be joyful. So yeah, I'm also learning to move away from happiness and into joy. A couple of points, I want to just put them together because they more or less speak about the same thing. So yeah, we're just going to put them together. Let's set our face. So I'm just going to set in the areas where we highlighted and the areas where we contoured. I'm going to let this sit for like a minute or two, and I just want us to pause and just talk about the next points, because if you don't take anything away from this, take these final 2 points, or actually these final 3 points, take these final 3 points. Especially if you're a woman, just take these final 3 points. Part A. Stop trying to change people, stroke fix them. As women, we like to fix people. I think we can fix everybody. You can't fix anyone. If there's something that I heard 1,000,001 times but it never really sunk into me, is to stop trying to change people or fix them. A friend of mine and I were just having this conversation the other day, and she had like a situation and she was asking me for advice, and I was just telling her, like, if there's something I have been able to learn the hard way, and I mean the hard way, you know, I had it and I understood it, but I never really quite listened to it. Number one is to stop trying to change or fix people. And then number 2, if a man shows you who he is, believe him the first time. Let me repeat that for the people at the back. If a man shows you who he is, believe him the first time. I just wish I understood this concept. It would have saved me a lot of time and energy, because I think as women we have this obsession with trying to change people. But they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and you can't change the stripes on a tiger, or you can't change the stripes on a zebra. Nobody says that apart from, I just made that up. But anyway, that's not the point. I genuinely believe if someone is showing you who they are, just believe them. Honestly, just believe them. Believe them and be bold enough to say, okay, that person is like, this is how I am, and this is how I like for relationships to work. Or maybe I don't even believe in relationships. Whatever it is that they're telling you, just listen and understand it, and be bold enough and be confident enough to say, that's not what I'm looking for at this time in my life. And that's okay. We can just go our separate ways because we have different values and we're looking for different things. If you don't want a relationship, it's not going to work, and I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you otherwise. Like, just be bold enough to say, like, if that's what you're on, that's great. Like, I understand where you are in your life. Like, I genuinely do understand that, but that's just not for me, especially not right now and where I'm at in my life. Stop creating versions of people in your head and expecting others to live up to your expectations. Someone tells you, this is the kind of person that I am. Number one, you want to change them. Aside from changing them, you create kind of like this version of this person in your head, and you want that person to live up to your expectations. I feel like it's very important to date the person who's in front of you, not the person you have in your head. Create versions of people in our heads and want them to live to the expectations of what we have in our head, which is not right. Not only is it unfair to your partner, because you want him to live to a certain expectation, or you want him to become a certain person that you have in your head. Number two, it's also unfair to you, because they're never going to live up to that expectation. So you're always just going to be in a constant state of disappointment, because you keep waiting for this person to change, and you keep waiting for this person to become the person who is in your head, and really and truly, that's not who they are. So it goes back to my first point. If a man tells you who he is, believe it. Or not even a man, someone tells you who they are the first time, believe them. Just decide whether this is a person that you want to be with. They tell you this is how I am, or they show you this is how I am, then decide if that's what you want to pour your time and energy to. That's not what you want to pour your energy and time into. And be bold enough to just say, yo, this is not what I want right now. This is not what I want. This is not where I am. Be with someone who values you. And you can only know your value if you know your self-worth and if you love yourself. So it all just stems from my first points. That's why I had them arranged the way I did. Like, I had those first points up to this last one, or up to the second last one, because this is the second last one. Just be with someone who values you, who wants to give you their undivided attention, who wants to be with you, and who wants to be in your presence. Again, let me say that I don't live in a delusional world where I think you're always going to be texting someone, you're always going to be in constant communication. Life happens, things happen, people get busy, work gets busy, but they should be aligned. Don't allow it to get to a point where you feel like you're begging for communication, you're begging for attention, you're begging for things that you should not even be begging for. And a big part of that is dating someone who values you. I learned that it's very important to be very cautious of who and what you pour your time and energy to. Just make sure that whatever you're pouring your time and energy to is reciprocated, because I genuinely do believe that relationships are like a give and take. It's not supposed to be one side constantly giving. Like, you're just giving. At what expense? The expense of your own peace of mind. And you'll give until you have nothing else to give, and now you have to go back to the drawing board and just start everything afresh. So yeah, just be very cautious of who you pour your time and energy to. Make sure it's someone who values you. Make sure it's someone who understands your worth. And that's just where I'm at in my life. I want to go ahead and just bronze, and I'm going to be using my palette. Yes, I'm using my palette, don't judge me. And I want to use this brown shade over there. I'm going to be grabbing my palette again. I use my palette for a lot of things, and I'm going to be grabbing the red colors right here, and I'm going to use that as a blush, because why not? Another thing I've learned is to lift your blush up. I'm going to grab the brown shade again, and I'm going to use that on my eyes to create a base. So I think that's fine. I don't know, on the camera it doesn't look like anything, but I just wanted it to be really soft. Next, I'm going to grab my Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and I'm going to use that to cut crease. Set that with a little bit of powder. The small layer, you don't want it to be cakey. Let that sit for a while, and I'm going to go ahead and start by lining my lips. I'm using my Davis eye pencil, and this is in the shade number 18, and this is what I typically use for my eyebrows. I'm going to grab my palette again, and I want to go with this gold shimmer over here. Actually decided just to enhance the color a little bit. I'm going to be grabbing, this is my Lady Flora palette, that one, and I want to grab this color right here, yeah, just to make it even more yellowish. Like on camera it looks so subtle. It's not subtle. There's nothing subtle about this. Next is some lipstick. So I'm not so sure if I like the red with this eye, but let's see. If I don't like it, I'm doing a neutral lip. Not so bad. Our last point is, if he wanted to, he will. You do not have to make excuses for anyone. Like, if they want to be consistent, they'll be consistent. If they want to text you, they'll text you. If they want to call you, they'll call you. If they don't, then there's really nothing you can do about that. And above all, just remember that you are the prize. And remember to love yourself, because no one is ever going to do that for you. Come to the end of this video, but before we end, I'd like to stress that I am not an expert of any kind. These are just personal experiences, but I'd love to know like your thoughts and opinions on the whole issue. So please do leave a comment down below letting me know whichever one of the points that you'd like to agree with or disagree with. Just do it in the comment section below. Let's interact. So yeah, also let me know if you enjoy this kind of videos, if you'd like for me to do more of them. I thought it'd be a good way to do makeup looks while sharing with you my thoughts and opinions about different things. So it's going to be, if you people like it, and please do tell me in the comment section down below if you like this type of videos, so that I can know if I should do more of them or not. So yeah, I'm just going to, if you do like it, I'm going to be talking about different things, love, relationships, money, relationships even with like friends, just lessons that I've learned over the years. Let me know God, religion, spirituality, self-development. I like to talk about so many things, especially now that I don't have my blog anymore. I really do miss writing, and I miss talking about these things. So I thought we could turn the blog into like a little chit chat video. So yeah, let me know if you like this type of videos and if you'd like to see more of them. Don't forget to leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up because it really helps with the growth of the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, and thank you so much for watching.
You really had me out here thinking I was mid, like I wasn't that gas, like I wasn't that fire, like I wasn't that za. Are you crazy? Well, let me reintroduce myself, because that bitch you used to fuck with, she don't live here no more. Ass fat, titties right, ussy tight, pockets heavy. My face card don't fucking decline.
Imagine that this is like the second time I'm filming this video. So I filmed the first one, and then I didn't like how the makeup turned out. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to post it. But I decided, no, I'm going to redo the whole thing. So this is me redoing it. And also I feel like this time I did more research as compared to like the first time. Because I never want to come here and just talk about things that I just don't necessarily understand. Tell someone to change and you, gosh, this stupid hen. So please, before I say bye completely. Don't forget, please let me know if you like this kind of videos. Please just leave in the comment section down below. Let me know if you like this, if you'd like for me to do more of this kind of videos. Please don't forget to do that. Okay, bye.